Alright guys, welcome back. We are going to go through kind of just an inking tutorial. I do have some custom brushes. I got a cool little bunny character here, so let's kind of show you how to set up the template here, just so you can see what we have done. I have a Illustrator file open. I think it is 4x4. You can do CMYK, really doesn't matter. Next, we are going to place our object. So I'm going to just create a new layer. File, place. I'm going to scroll down, some sneak peeks at what's about to come. It's a little big, so then I'm just going to scale it down. So right now I'm holding Shift and Alt, and I'm just going to drag that guy down. And it's also just going to be personal preference on how much background you would actually want to see on the guy. So kind of just think of what you're kind of aiming at. That looks pretty good. Alright, up at the top of our layers, kind of a little window here, we do have our menu. I'm going to scroll down and I'm just going to select template, and it'll basically lock it out and it'll automatically give me my 50%. So I'm just going to scroll that one down. Obviously I've done this a couple times. And that looks pretty good. Next, I would do a new layer. So you can kind of see that I have bunny line. So we can also just do inking. And that'll also be perfect for the kind of the next steps. Or my pen tool. I'll just go, let's see if we can just do a little quick one. If I just have this, it's going to go off in kind of the direction. So start to finish is going to do the taper. If I oops that, and I didn't like that, I could always just come in and flip it. So I think just having the other option there is actually quite nice. Okay. So that was all the pre-stuff. Brushes are ready to go. Keep in mind you can also just file save the brush driver. Cartoon brushes, let's just do cartoon brushes. In case I added some more. It's going to ask me to replace. Yep, I do. Okay. And so you could also load those. I'll give you that too. So if you guys don't want to bring it over, I'll just give you that custom brush menu. And then you just have to basically save it to your brushes. And you should be able to load. And it'll usually be in this user-defined area. So if you can bring that over, then you would just select cartoon. And also reasons for that is, let's say if you're doing multiple tutorials, hopefully of mine, but you can also just bring those over. So you just go boom, open up the new file, load brushes, and then you're ready to go. So that actually saves a whole lot of time as you're moving forward. So those are the brushes, and I say we're ready to get going on the inking. Now for this inking, I'm going to use the pen tool. Most of my inking, I'm going to probably say, is going to be hanging out with the pen tool. I do have a stylus, but for any really clean lines, I just like the process a little bit better. So we're going to kind of zoom in on this. Hopefully you guys can see what we're doing. And I'm going to do a little bit slower pen demo with this kind of tutorial, just in case you guys are brand new, or you just want to see kind of what my hands are doing. I usually have a two-handed approach to using the pen tool, and I think that really helps out. And I'll kind of give you some other little strategies in case you guys just kind of want to see some things. Now, before we get going, I'm going to start on the ears. Maybe I'll start on the feet, and then we'll attack the face. Now, since we did flip our brushes over here, and you have both directions, this part really isn't as big of a deal. And since we have so many different brushes, it won't be as big of a deal. So I'm going to come up. I'm holding Alt. Click drag, and I'm totally going to switch that color on you because I don't think you guys can see it. You might not be able to see with that, but that's okay. We'll go for it for now. Alright, so for the inking, and this one, just so you guys are aware, that's a little bit harder to see sometimes, but I think you guys will manage. Just going to clean up that little edge. Okay, P. Now for my inking purposes, I'm going to show you two kind of different strategies right now. First strategy, just get the line down, come back with your direct selection tool, and then you can modify it. So for beginners, and heck, even for me, I think that is a very easy way and a very easy approach of just doing the pen tools. Reasons for that is I don't have to be perfect. I just kind of have to get that line down, and I'm kind of good to go. Black arrow, and then I'm gonna, nope, actually take that back. I want that type. I want a thick to thin. So kind of approach one is what we just did. Kind of just get the line down and kind of go over it. Next approach is you can kind of see this overlapping up in the ear here. And I'll just zoom in so you guys can see it. So approach one, and I don't really do it this way because I think this type of a process is kind of a pain. Would be, I'm on my direct selection tool, by the way, and I'm just trying to line up this line so it matches. So that would be kind of step one. I don't necessarily do it that way, but obviously what we're looking for is that there's no gaps. So that is a very, very clean edge. Let's just kind of go back so you can see the other version. Other version is I do have overlap. Now I already know I'm going to be doing cleanup all day long with my lines. So my other option is I am going to come in, and I'm basically using my selection tool, object expand. Okay, so now I'm able to come in, select this line. I'm hitting Shift E, which is my eraser tool. I can always control that size of the brush, and it's only going to erase the line that I have selected since this overlap. And then I'd be able to just come in. So sometimes I think that one's just as easy. Keep in mind the next little step would be I could use my Pathfinder and then I can unite those together. So that would be kind of another option for you guys. Okay, so you've got a couple different ways of approaching your lines. And this is just really going to be personal preference as we're going through. Alright, so let's kind of go real speed here. I'm going to click, point in the direction I want, click. Maybe we'll zoom out a little bit. Click drag. I'm hitting Alt. Point in the direction you want to go. Let's flip those. Hit Alt. Point in the direction you want to go. You can't see it. Click. There we go. Boom. Back to A. Direction selection tool. Drag that to where you want. And as we're doing this, when we have these little overlaps, and typically you'll see these all the time, but as you have these little overlaps, I would recommend doing 2 lines for them. So you could do a big giant, just trace the outline, and that totally would be acceptable. But I do like that little bit of a taper. Okay, let's do the next one. I'm clicking P for the pen tool. A. That was a Shift C, by the way. Back to A. If you guys haven't perfected those shortcuts, you're going to notice that I do it quite a bit. I want fat to thin. Fat to thin. Beautiful. Okay. black arrow, V, select everything. I'm going to go Object Expand. I'm going to select this little overlap, Shift E, that'll be my eraser. Missed it. There we go. Doesn't look like there's any overlapping or any weird strays that we missed. And then I'm just going to unite those in the Pathfinder. Boop, boop, boop. Scroll down. Alright. So far, so good. And before we end this, these ears are going to shift a little bit. But you can kind of see just starting point here. We've got some very nice line variation. Okay, so we've also kind of got these little folds. I could also do the same if I wanted to add more folds. So as soon as we get into like chubby characters, you'll get more those type of lines kind of showing creases. Okay. I changed my mind. Let's do the face. He is so adorable. And most of you guys will probably be able to move on. So we'll just do another kind of face, and we'll use pen tool again. Click, drag. I'm holding Alt. Go back in the direction you want. Before a curve, after a curve. Okay, get it down. Go back to your direct selection tool. I think we're going to go... Ooh, I think we've gone to do this one. Where's our fat, skinny fan? I think we're going to make that 1.5. Nope, switch it. Better. Okay. I'm just going to bring this one out so we can overlap the next one. Okay, click P. Alt, bring it back. All one and done. Okay. A, boop, drag it back up. Kind of a good signal for when you're going to switch over to using the direct selection tool is a lot of times that you can tell that the line's getting away from you. So, real easy, just boom, go back to A, come back and fix it. Especially if you guys are brand new, that's where the frustration usually starts coming in. Just go straight over to A and I can always tweak stuff. I say fat, skinny fan. Ooh, yeah. I'm going to bring that over as far out as I can. Zoom in so you guys can see what's up. Now, just so you guys can kind of see some of the little issues, this is going to be the same line as we're going to come in. So this actually loops back around itself, typically with that eraser tool. And let's just do it so you guys can see what I'm referring to. This is going to be the same line. So if I'm using the eraser tool and I come in, it doesn't know where one ends, so you're going to kind of get that weird little section. Other thing you can come in and do is just use our minus points. Control Z. I'm just going to use my A. bring down those overlaps. Let's just zoom in so we can just be picky. Whew. Okay. Black arrow, object expand. While we're here, Shift-E. Get rid of that little overlap. Okay, looks good. Okay. You guys have been doing some very good jobs with your pen tool. Let's do some easy stuff. I'm just going to come in with my ellipse. Big one for the nose. Now I'm going to just do a little rotate with this guy. Okay. I'm going to do drag selection tool as well. And I want this side to have a little bit more of a flat. This is where you guys can take your creative license and say, hey, I want a nice circle nose. Okay. Circle, circle. These are just going to be our highlights. What I'm looking for is this top to kind of be as pretty even as possible. And we're going to come back, and when we do our coloring, we'll worry about lines and things like that. So those won't stay. Let's just fan up that outside. Looks good. Pen tool. P. Come back to my direct selection tool. These are going to have none. I already know that these guys are going to be, for the most part, white, so I'll just fill those in. That's good, that's good, that's already expanded. Okay, so this one's already expanded. Shift-E, got my eraser. Object expand. I don't know exactly what I want the face to be yet, but just so we can kind of see what the overlapping and kind of the nose looks like. Okay. P. Go back to my pen tool. Let's just get some little nose creases. Fat to thin. Let's drop down that size a tiny bit. Good. Go back to the pen tool. Click, drag. Fat to thin. Let's go skinnier. Pretty good. Okay. And I do have this little tooth floating out there. Creative license, guys. Feel free. We will kind of come back to it. Okay, what do we think? I say body. Pen tool. I'm going to do some nice little overlapping here. Point in the direction you want. Point in the direction you want. I'm going to have a, now I'm holding down shift right now. I want this to be straight across. And then I'm going to have a nice little rounded back. And again, I overlapped. Just kind of peeking on how I want things. Fat, fat. I say fat, skinny, fat. Where's my fat, skinny, fat? Actually, let's see what this guy looks like. Add a little more weight to him. Okay, good. Sometimes with these taper lines too, these little overlapping approach, just so you guys can kind of tell, it won't give you this little tiny skinny line right here. So that's typically not pretty natural. So I do like a little bit fatter as they're coming in. Keep in mind you can always fatten that back up. So you could come back in, modify the lines, and then add a little bit more weight as they're approaching. So typically when lines merge, my recommendation is go a little bit fatter. Okay, we are getting there. Let's do the feet. I always like things that we can duplicate. Pen tool. Click. What do you think? One and done? I'm going to want a pretty decent overlap here. Okay, P. Alt. Just bring that up so we can fit. Okay, I want skinny here, so we're gonna go skinny, fat, skinny. Skinny, fat, fatty. Let's go 1.5 on that one. Okay, looks good. Pen tool. Let's do an easy one. Click, drag. Fat, skinny. Okay, pen tool. Click, drag. let's use one we haven't really used. Let's go fat, skinny, fat. Beautiful. Okay, let's expand this one. Shift E, eraser tool. Let's zoom in so you guys can see what the heck I'm doing. Okay. Zoom, zoom, zoom. V. Alright, easy peasy time. Hold down your Alt. Whoop. Oh, I missed one. That guy. There we go. So we're just going to duplicate this shape out. Hold down Shift. Okay. I'm going to zoom out just so I can see my perspective a bit. You can kind of see my up and to the left more. Okay, I say right there. Okay, now before you guys completely freak out, let's just do it. Object, expand. This is going to be the ugliest part of our process. Okay, this foot is in the front. Shift E. So as long as you say, hey, where is my front foot? Many of these lines will be very simple to figure out. Okay. Next, these legs are going to go behind the body, so all of that's going to go away. Whoop, whoop. Zoom, zoom, zoom. Oh, he's getting cute. Cute. Cuteness overload. Oh my god. Alright, we are moving on the hand and we are done with our inking. Let's... Do we already expand this guy? Let's do that one. Let's do a nice little cleanup before we move into the hand. Shift E. That's behind the head. Let's zoom in. Doot, doot, doot. I have the head selected right now. Shift E. We might need to do some brackets. Brackets are next to your P, by the way. I think I missed it. Okay. Boop, boop. Let's just do our hand and we can call it a day. Oh, we're having too much fun. Let's get this. There's his pinky. Skinny fat skinny. Beautiful. Coming back to direct selection tool. Now there should be kind of this getting smaller as you're going back behind the hand here. So you can always bring this guy up. P. There might be the smallest of all hints on that guy. And I reserve the right to delete it later. Doot. Okay, P. And I'm going to bring this guy way down here. That'll be a nice little crease of the hand. Skinny, fat, skinny, skinny, fat, skinny. There we go. Cool. P. Little armpit crease. I don't know if that's the official term for it or not. Nope. Okay. Object expand. Let's start doing some deleting here. Okay, I've got my body selected first. Zoom in. Shift E. Okay, everything else is intact. Good. Direct selection tool. Grab the pinky. I need to expand that guy. Shift E. Object expand. Shift E. Get that little overlap and that little overlap. Okay. So we've got our inking, we've got some line variation. I think we're pretty much ready to go on the color. So at this point, if you're like, hey, everything looks good, kind of a good, and maybe this would be the only one, just so we don't get all messed up here. Select your black. Looks like we have everything. Object expand. Do it probably 2-3 times. It's always going to miss something. I'm just double checking the nose here. Expand. Okay. Pathfinder. Let's just zoom out. This is where weird fills happen for some reason. Doot. Okay, select your black. Looks good. Okay, so all I did was unite everything. Everything looks nice and smooth. And then we will be ready to go for our color demo. Okay, since this video is getting way too long, we're going to move on to the, we'll do the coloring next. But that's kind of a start to finish. This was a little bit longer, but hopefully if you guys are beginners, that this was kind of helpful where you can kind of see the start to finish